Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Cancer for April 2021. Keep in mind, my friends, it's a general message. Take what you feel resonates for you, disregard the rest, and go about your day. Know that no matter what messages do come through, it's still up to you and your active free will, the choices you make, and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. And to me, that's personal freedom, that's personal power, and it lies at the tips of our fingers and at the soles of our feet. So my friends, use that power to do wisely. As well as a big shout out to all my subscribers. I love you, love you, love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. You guys mean the world to me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like this resonates and if you feel like you'd like to see more of it, hit subscribe. Join the journey with me. Let me encounter your energy more often. I'd love to have you along this ride. As well as, guys, if it resonates with you, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Help me circulate the messages. Help support my channel. I truly, truly appreciate your support. So before we get going today, I am just going to also remind you guys that time is fluid. So even though I'm asking Spirit for a message for April 2021, if you encounter this later on, it still may be for you. We may be picking up on a situation from the past, a past life, something that's happened already or something that hasn't happened yet. So keep a discerning mind and keep an open heart, my friend. I'm going to take a minute as well to call in Spirit. I'm going to ask Archangel Michael, any of your spirit guides who would be here for the highest good of the entire collective watching, to join. I'm also going to ask my team of light and Archangel Metatron to join us to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, to use me as the clearest channel possible, but delivering messages that are for the most far-reaching, but again, only for the highest good of the entire collective. No second-rate messages here today. So I'm going to start off with the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell for some spiritual advice, guys. So for Cancer, please, Spirit, what messages would you have Cancer know? What messages do you feel are important for Cancer to focus on this month as well? Thank you. You have Warrior Woman that's come up here, and this is a really strong feminine archetype. I also heard Joan of Arc as well, and it says, have you answered your deepest call? If you don't identify with a woman, that's totally fine. This may be a woman in your life as well, so it might not necessarily be you. It could be a woman that you're close to in your world who I feel like has struggled for a hard time or for a long time is really starting to stand in their power and accept their truth and accept what they're meant to do in this world. If that doesn't resonate, and maybe this is you, it's time, right? It's time to put your warrior stance forward, put your warrior self in the forefront. And this doesn't mean you're going around battling people, but I think it's important to show yourself as a warrior. What are the things you've battled through, right? What are the things, or where are the places that you're willing to stand up for what you believe in, to carry this mighty sword? If you are a man as well, it still could be you. It's just your feminine part of you, okay? So is there a place where you have felt drawn to? Do you know that you have a higher calling or more potential than you're currently allowing yourself to exude, is one of the questions that I get, or I'm feeling right now. And this is some of it. To me, peony season is coming up. For some of you, there may be something coming up during the time of peonies. I feel like that's more like the end of June, depending on, where you are, but I feel like there is something that's going to need you to really show your strength coming up. It could be, again, that just you're a fighter, you're a warrior, that you I also heard like standing up for the weak. This may be something that like lifetimes has been something that you've done. You may really resonate with that Joan of Arc archetype as well. Let's get a little bit more clarification, please. But the main thing here, I think, is just to know, to stand up for what you believe in, to not be afraid to honor yourself and to heed the call when that call comes. Lemuria is coming here as well. Creating heaven on earth, it's happening. So you are a driving force. You're a change maker. For some of you, you may be a lawmaker as well. I heard lawbreaker as well too. And in terms of that idea of lawbreaker, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going out and you're creating felonies and you're doing all these kinds of things, but this could be you're disturbing the status quo. There are unjust laws all over the world. right? And it's up to us, people, to say, you know what, that's not really resonating in this day and age anymore. That's not just, it's not fair. And it's hindering these people, it's persecuting these people, and, let's change things. Your mission, I heard, your job on this earth is to help create a more peaceful world. Many of you guys as well may have ties back to Lemuria. So anybody not familiar with Lemuria, I'm going to give you a little bit of reading from the book here. So Lemuria, I'm also going to hold up the card, and I want you guys to just acknowledge if you feel anything, if I trigger you when I say something, what was it? Did something resonate with you? What was it? And how can you use this information in your day-to-day worlds to create a positive change for yourself? So Lemuria, or Mu, is one of the Earth's lost lands, where heaven really was a place on Earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal and were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We know that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven really can be a place on Earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who at a soul level are devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet right now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the state of affairs on the planet right now, but you are being encouraged to keep holding the clear vision of the future. It is closer than you think. You may be guided to hold the frequency of Lemuria in your own community, family, workplace, or within yourself. Know that it is possible. And while at times it may seem like you are alone, you are truly not. There are hundreds of thousands who hold the codes of this ancient lost land, and even Lemurian crystals that hold the codes of remembering that are beginning to rise all over the planet. Keep doing what you're doing, and remember, the only way to heal the world around us is to first heal ourselves. So, to work your light, they say the work your light transmission here, they want you to hold the card on your heart, but you don't have that. So use your hand, put it over top of your heart center. Take a deep breath in, breathe in love and light, and breathe out anything that is not love and light to be transmuted out into the world. And we're going to say this: I hold the codes of Lemuria and believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. I hold the codes of Lemuria and believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. I hold the codes of Lemuria and I believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. I feel like for some of you, that's that warrior side, that you are going to be a warrior against persecution, and you are going to be a warrior for justice and speak out against injustices that you see, but also that you're not going to be afraid of your power. And that's wonderful. That's gorgeous energy. That when we're creating this heaven on earth situation, it's not about a power hungry thing. It's about accepting our power in this world, our own authenticity, and that power to do, right? What we can do, what we choose to do. And I feel like it's also this state of being that we know it's okay to be a powerful person. So knowing that you have the ability, and I heard the potential, to create heaven on earth, to make this world a little bit better for everybody who's on it. And I feel like what you are doing, you're going to know, I feel like, if you're currently engaging in this kind of like social justice or change-making behavior, right? If you're doing these kinds of things, but it might even be a little nudge from spirit that it's time to get involved. They keep telling me to look at the bottom too, which is the ever unfolding rose. Cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. And that's one of these things we need to remind ourselves as light workers, as spiritual beings, as humans on this earth, that when things happen to us, if we focus on that it's happening to us, we're giving ourselves a victim mentality. If we say it's happening for us, then we're kind of putting ourselves in control of the reins a little bit, and how we control. There may be a need or a real want for control as well, but how we go through our changes, how we allow these changes to impact our life and affect us as well, are important, because it's looking at how we view the situation, right? So if we experience I heard a soul loss, but this could be for, we lose a partner or we lose a job. There's a business situation. Spirit's like purging, or spirit's culling. They're trying to change the energy so that is what is more in alignment with you can come in. But if we look at our world and say, you know what, my world is falling apart. This has happened, this has happened, this has happened. It's all happening to me. Spirit hates me. And when we look at it like that, that's not really creating a positive environment for us. So it could be, well, you know what, my job, I lost my job and this relationship kind of disintegrated. But I think it's because there's more for me out there, that this was the lessons I needed at the time, the experiences I needed at the time. But man, I'm growing, I'm changing every day, and I'm going to be part of the healing process of this entire world. So I'm going to heal myself. This is happening for me. So that's just some of the options there, but to know that things are always changing. Change is constant, as well as to remember that this is not happening to you, this is happening for you, and you're probably not the only person in this world going through similar changes, and you're definitely not the only Lemurian starseed on this world who is ready to help create the changes that are here. So like it said, you are holding the keys, the codes of Lemuria. You could be going through a lot of transitions right now. Especially I heard we've had solar flares. The solar energy and the radiation has been a lot different. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling drained, check out what's happening with the sun, honestly, because I feel like as well, you may be really sensitive to that. The universe as well is activating DNA like codes within you to help you with the remembering of what it is that you're meant to bring to this earth, as well as I feel like this is you and your existence, that once these light codes are activated, you are literally emanating an energy that's going to help change other people, even if you're not aware of it. So heal yourself, because like Spirit said, and like the book said, the best way to heal the world is to heal ourselves first. So I have the Wildwood Tarot now. I'm going to pull a little bit of advice for you, or just the reading messages, please, for Cancer. Please, Spirit, what messages do you have for Cancer? So, 2 cards fell out to show themselves. The rest are upside, didn't. So I'm going to show you what we have here. This could be an air sign, a Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It is the Queen of Arrows and the Swan. I heard about unconditional love, though. There's a lot of grace, there's a lot of beauty, there's a lot of defying odds, as well as appearances or our initial speculations or our initial feelings about things sometimes are totally way off. And I always think about the ugly duckling with this, the book The Ugly Duckling, just how that ugly duckling did not feel like he belonged, or she, they did not feel like they were the same as their family. They got ridiculed for how they look, and they grew up to be this majestic being who ran off on his own, right? Survived the winter and was able to successfully join in with the rest of the swans. But there shows, I heard there's a lot of passion, reverence as well, as again is what I'm hearing, but it's about I heard overcomement is not a word, but there's been a lot that has been overcome. There's been a lot of challenges that were overcome, and there's a lot of, I feel, even personal power there, and going, you know what, I succeeded on my own. I did all this stuff in my own power. I think it's really important to see your worth and to see clearly. Don't see yourself as that ugly duckling or an inexperienced person. You have all the power you need, and the skill as well as what I'm hearing. For some of you, I also heard some of you may want to hide in the cattails, the reeds. Some of you, it may be really healing to get in a canoe and to just go into these waters, right? Paddle around very gently and just be in nature. The seer being here as well, to me, this represents a mystic. This represents the divine feminine. This is that high priestess energy of, I feel like with the warrior woman too, it's that Joan of Arc stuff again, that really honoring your feminine presence. But I think also that if you're getting a big, bold vision of what life is going to look like, and you know that you have an important role to play, honor that. Honor what you see. They want me to get you the book too. I really love the Wildwood because of their interpretations as well. It's a lot different than necessarily just the regular tarot. So let's see here for number 2. I'm going to hold it up if you want to look at it. But it says the time has come to focus your power and to let it flow through you. Many dreams or desires related to the creative emotional process are ready to be applied in your day-to-day life, and you must now give vent to those hidden or suppressed longings. This may also relate to healing, sexual relationships, or partnerships. Now is the manifestation of inner spiritual or esoteric insights into your practical and daily life. Your physical daily life will bring profound rewards and results. It is a sign of maturity. The seer also relates to creative impulses such as art, mechanical skills, and crafts, and the joy of bringing pleasure and knowledge to others. For some of you as well, I heard you may be a public speaker, or speaking may be really important. You may also have like air in your chart, but this is being very balanced between our emotions and our water energy and our air energy and our thought process. To know that these exist, to bear witness to the emotions, but to still be able to communicate effectively and clearly is what I heard. So this is definitely about an inner knowing, but I also feel like it's acknowledging that inner power within you. And this is important to know that that power is not a bad thing. Throughout history, women, minorities, there's been a huge sense of a feeling of disempowerment culturally, right? And this is across all boards. This isn't just, one country. And I heard patriarchy, okay? But we've lived in a primarily patriarchal society. And I feel like here's where it's important to know that the whole idea of patriarchy devalues women and their authority and their power. And I mean, especially too, in an older generation, you hear like lots of people, older men, about women drivers, or, times where if you have a valid opinion or you're knowledgeable about something, but because you're in the boys club, you may not be heard. There is a legacy of this. Whoever this is for, you, my friend, are meant to break down those walls of patriarchy. And if you identify as a man, this is not any blame on you, okay? I think it's about also doing your part, because we all have masculine, feminine polarities, as well as we all have women in our lives and men in our lives, or marginalized groups of people in our lives who felt less than because of a system that's been put in place. And I do definitely feel like we're swapping energies out right now, in the mainstream news media anyway. I live in Canada and I watch Canadian and American TV at times. I try and stay away from the news as much as possible, honestly, just because I never feel good after I watch it, and I don't actually feel like there's any unbiased, there's not any. There is information being disseminated, but what's picked and choose, to me, it holds a lot of weight on what they're choosing to show you. There's a lot of even desensitization of violence there. Have you ever noticed that the news will tell you of some horrible bloody massacre and then tell you about a puppy, right? Make you forget that. And I get really triggered easily. Some of you may get really triggered easily as well. And I think it's because of this warrior woman archetype of throughout years and years and years. It's something that you've done. You may have been persecuted for being strong in your power. But this also, where I was getting about, like, if you do identify more on the masculine scale, in terms of the idea of patriarchy, it hasn't helped men either. Because it's made this idea of this hegemonic masculinity, where this is what masculinity looks like. We've created this system, an idea, and information surrounding what we consider to be a man. And this is not real life. This is just stuff that we've compiled, a list of compiled, and these are the traits, and this is what a man does. And I think that's also really horrible and disempowering to men too, to know that, you know what, you do not have to practice your masculinity in this way. You can be a feminist and still be very masculine. You can not be a feminist. It's how it feels for you. But I feel like it's really important to recognize that throughout history, women have been systematically I heard controlled, but it's not just about control. It's about, like, the power that they have within themselves. And this goes down to even our own bodies. You know, a lot of places where women can still be punished for being raped. Women who can be punished for speaking out and speaking their truth. I mean, men too, right? This isn't just both, but they're really picking up. I'm really picking up on strong with the feminine energy here. That, you know, it is really time to see clearly these injustices. And this may just be for some one person or very few people. I'm going to be honest here. I took women's studies in university and sociology, so I have a Cancer moon as well. I feel like this is definitely partially speaking to me, but this is not just my reading. I just wanted to be really open and clear with you guys that I'm not trying to push a feminist agenda or anything like that, but this is the message that I'm seeing, and it's really important because if we want to create a world of heaven on earth with Lemuria, it's got to be done from equality, right? It's not about devaluing personality traits or devaluing a color or clothes that we wear, right? It's not about creating social constructed views on what it means to be a woman or what it means to be a man. This is a real time of change. So, as well as I wanted to acknowledge as well, I'm hearing with the trans community, right? This is no longer a situation of black and white. This is a place where we get to create the identities that we want. We get to be the people that we want to see. Gender is not about what is between your legs, my friends. And I apologize if I'm offending anybody here. But your gender is a social construct. It is what we do. It's the same thing as patriarchy. It is a social construct. It is not the natural rule or law of the universe. And because we are contributing people in society, we can help change these social norms. Stop and change social constructions to be a little bit more equality of more equality and creating less social division, okay? So that's the message I do have, but I think that it's important. There's more I'm going to bring, but Spirit's like, that's done on that line. I do just want to say with the seer, that's some of the stuff, the feminine energy that has been devalued, right? The idea of intuition is that, oh, well, that's just kooky stuff, or if you are more connected with your third eye and more connected with your crown, and you are able to see in between dimensions, there's people that will put you down because they can't see it, they don't understand it. So there's a lot I'm hearing. I'm going to get some more for you guys. Tell me more about the seer, please. I think it's just being able to see through that too, right? And not being discouraged by someone else and acknowledging, your own gifts. So you get the blasted oak, and it's a real decision time. What's great about this one is that this is the tower. In other tarot decks, you often will see a tower with lightning and people are falling down. There is an irrevocable change happening here. Because this guy, this is the hanged man and the tower kind of together. What's happened is he was roped to the tree. And lightning came, and lightning not only burned off all the ties and shackles to that tree, but took the whole branch. Because whatever change is happening, it's irrevocable. It's not going to go back to the way things were. And I honestly think that it's the warrior woman within you, or the warrior spirit within you, that's got that fight. Says, you know what? I'm not done yet. You thought you knocked me down. You thought you had me laying on the ground. You thought I succeeded or seceded. You thought you won. But no, you cannot keep a warrior down. I think it's very important to connect with our warrior self as well. If any of you guys are interested in a message from your warrior spirit, let me know in the comments. I would love to bring one of those. It's something that I used to do more often, is messages from your warrior self. If you would like that kind of message, let me know, because I feel like the messages that come through on that are so empowering as well. This is a time to focus on your empowerment, not the disempowerment, and to know that whatever change in this world you're hoping or planning to do, it's possible. And I think that, again, you're going back to your power, right? Your power. Tell me more. What is this change? This blasted oak. Thank you. 10 of arrows. It's about dedication in this one. They're telling me to take the bottom two, which is the Knight of Bows. Moving forward, I heard, with stealth, with a little bit of cunning, and maybe there could be trickery just because you're not wanting everyone right away to know what you're doing, or it's not that there's not transparency, it's just that what I heard is this path could be dangerous and perilous, so you're going to do it in a way that is well thought through, as well as not giving away your position right away. So if that makes sense to anyone, but this also is a brand new start. Something exciting. This Knight of Bows as well, this fox could be like a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, a fire sign. They could be someone who's younger than you, but there's a movement here to what brings you passion, and that's important. And I think that you may have learned a long time. For some of you, to me, this signifies the end of school. You've learned the lessons, but also this is cyclical thinking, or ways of thinking that, to me, as well, I heard about your powerlessness or about your ability to change. Because have you ever heard people say, you know what, you can't change the world? And to those people, I say, watch me, okay? And that's what I want you to say. If you feel like you are a game changer in this world and you are a world changer, people who tell you that you can't change the world, that you won't make a difference, it's because they don't feel they could. But don't put their limits on you, okay? And I think that that's what's changing here, is that we, whoever's resonating here, is starting to really see your influence and the impact that you have on the people around you, as well as that cyclical thinking that tells you you're not good enough, or you're not worthy, or what would make you think you could change the world for the better. That's stopping, because you're very sure of yourself. And it talks about the instruction. We have learned those lessons. We have learned where to shoot the arrow, how to pull it back, and where to aim, and that's what we're going to do. They're telling me to take one more about the 10 of arrows. Tell me more about this instruction. I feel like as well you're going to be getting instruction with Spirit on what you should do, what your plan of actions are. Pay attention to the changes that happen in your life with the blasted oak as well. You know, and they're showing me on the oak, the lightning. That's power, right? Raw, creative power. And they're also I'm hearing, like, with power comes responsibility, like great responsibility, because you don't want to become, you want to be powerful. You want to practice this power in appropriate ways, not as in a power over anyone. And we're not trying to create a situation where we're burning the place down, right? So we want to really focus on the lessons that we've learned and know that we're ready for this with the 10. This isn't the ace. You're ready. You're ending old thought patterns and you're starting anew, going towards something with vigor and with passion. And I think the more passion that you have for whatever you're doing, the more people are going to get on board with that. This fox is charming and charismatic. So what's the last message from this deck you want? There's that one too. So this flew over, this archer, which actually came out in, I believe, the Scorpio video. Could be wrong. It could be Libra, but I'm pretty sure it's the Scorpio here. And this one also talks about pulling back, right? You've learned the lessons. You're going to shoot your arrow into what you're wanting, what your sights are going for. So this archer is definitely thought through. They've learned the lessons, and if you look at both of these, they're learning their bows, and actually they're both shooting it in the right direction. And I think that's also, I heard counterparts for some of you, like counterpart energy. It may be that you're both shooting the arrow in the right direction. If this is to do with a partnership, or if there's a partnership involved in here, you may actually have someone who's very, I heard, willing, but also very ready and very knowledgeable in whatever you're trying to do, that's ready to help you as well, to help this gain momentum. The Queen of Vessels is here. The same with the 9 of Arrows, which these all came up actually it is the Scorpio. So some of you may have a Scorpio in your life as well. It may connect with that. Sometimes I find when I do readings, like I'm just intuitively guided to who I'm doing. And I do find sometimes if we get those similar cards, it's because there could be a relationship to some people with the other. So other than that though, if it's not, I feel like it's really coming from the heart, coming from a heart place. And you have two queens, arrows and vessels. This is head and heart, to really connect the two. This is not, I don't feel this is two separate people, although it could be. You could definitely have another woman coming into your life who, with the Nine of Arrows was the other one that's come here, who is still struggling a little bit. This could also be your past self, right? Where when it came to emotions, you were struggling. But then we have the Ten of Arrows that was here in the first place that was like, you know what? You've already surpassed this. So this is being loving, being kind, and I think putting an end and putting to rest the places where your mind has raced, and to just allow your heart to fuel you. I heard you allow your heart to sing, but to know that I feel like this is in the past where we've allowed heartache and heartbreak to help us, make us lose focus, okay? But this time we're not losing focus. Our focus is on change, eye on the prize, and you're shooting back that arrow and going for it. So I'm going to leave one last parting message from the Earth Magic Oracle. This is by Stephen Farmer. Oh, I love that this came out, lightning and power. And we also have love and compassion. And that's really important because as we exercise our power, right, we want to do it in a compassionate way, right? We're not the Gestapo, okay? That's the words I'm hearing. We're not trying to exert a power over anyone. We're realizing our natural power. And you see these two here, it's almost like pay attention to the power, turbulent emotions as well. They have power. There's reasons you're experiencing them, so use your internal struggles and find the power that lies within, as well as get your ass into safety if it is lightning outside, okay? I definitely felt like that with this, but I didn't say it because I was like, what does it matter? Well, it does. For some of you, practice lightning safety, okay? If you're outside and it's starting to rain, it's starting to thunder, go inside. Lightning does kill people every single day. And I also feel like this is where it's like that whole idea of with great power, there's that responsibility on making sure that it's not used over anyone and it's done in a loving and compassionate way. And also to remember to give yourself love and compassion in everything that you do. Give yourself grace, work in partnership, and come from the heart. Don't look at things in such a black and white manner that you forget your heart along the way. So that's what I have for you, my beautiful warriors. I hope that this resonated. If it does, I'd love to hear from you down below. If not, don't worry about it. But if you do want a warrior reading, let me know and I'll pump one of those out for you guys. Love yous all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.